So you want to grow your Instagram account. You want to get more followers, but you don't want to spend hours a day on Instagram to do it. You want to automate the process. So in this video, we're going to show you how to safely use automation to grow your Instagram account. Hey, this is Leah Ray and Todd from Digital Trailblazer, and today we're talking about Instagram automation. And in this video, we'll be going over your best options for Instagram followers apps and what you need to look for in a good Instagram auto followers app. We're also going to cover what you should never do with automation tools on Instagram. If you do these things, you will practically guarantee that you are going to get locked out. And then we're going to let you know the one big change to automation that you must do to keep your account safe and to prevent lockouts and shutdowns. So if you want to use automation, it's very important that you follow the rules that we lay out for you later on in this video. Now, back in the day, you could automate just about everything on Instagram without ever worrying much about it. But those days are definitely over. They've died. Instagram has gone to great lengths to stop automation. Maybe you've fallen victim to getting blocked or even losing your account. So it's important that you learn how to be smart about it and how to minimize your risk. So with that in mind, we're going to show you the very best tool to use to automate your account growth. It's an automation tool that we've been using for quite a while now, and it's by far the best around. So we'll be revealing that to you as well. Now, if people have played with automation before, what's the difference now and what's no longer working?
Right. So previously, you could pretty much automate everything that your Instagram account was going to do. The following, the unfollowing, the likes, the direct messages, the comments even, posting, all that stuff. You could automate everything. You could set it at the maximum, the maximum speed, and you might get locked out here or there, but a day or two later, you can just start it right up again and you'd be fine.
Yep.
Right. Can't do that anymore.
No.
Instagram has really tightened their limits on exactly what you can do. They've gotten really sophisticated in how they detect automation tools. And they've also increased the severity of the penalties when they do lock you out or suspend your account or do a temporary activity ban or something like that. So you really have to know what you're doing with automation. You can't just flip a few switches and have something set up automatically for you anymore, which was what some of the services used to do for you. So you really have to focus on setting up your automation tools in a way that it mimics organic activity as closely as possible, and so that you are growing gradually and at a steady pace rather than try to push the limits every single time you turn on your automation tools. So
what should you absolutely not do when it comes to automation on Instagram?
Yeah, the very worst thing that you can do is make it look like an automation tool.
Okay.
Which basically means, there's people out there that they set up just a very basic account. They might not even have a profile picture. They have very few words in their bio. They don't really have much set up, and they just start following and unfollowing. And they follow and unfollow at the very maximum limits, and they just push it. And they don't really post. They're not really engaging with their audience, and all they're trying to do is get followers, and it doesn't work. And that's very easy for Instagram to detect that, and it's very easy to get shut down doing that. And so if that's what you're doing, if all you're doing is you're setting up just a shell of an account and you're following and unfollowing, and that's really all you're doing, or you're sending direct messages trying to pitch something, links to sales pages or to sales videos or something like that, that's very bad. That's pretty much going to get you shut down pretty quick. If you're not posting quality content, if people are not engaging with your account, that's also not very good.
So with Instagram automation, you still have to be a good citizen of Instagram. You have to give value to the community, and you should just think of automation as just an extra layer to benefit, to add on to what you're already doing within the app.
Yeah, exactly. You can't treat automation as something that is going to get you results that you've never gotten before. Right? All automation does is it takes the results that you're already getting and it helps you to get those results faster. Okay, so if you have a really crappy account that is getting no followers, that is getting no engagement, and you suddenly try to add automation to that, well, you're going to get the same results but faster. It's basically all that's going to happen. So automation is great for amplifying what you're already doing, but if you're really not very successful with what you're currently doing, automation is not going to help you.
Right. So with all of that in mind, what should people look for specifically when they're evaluating automation tools for Instagram?
Right, so this is very important. You really want automation tools that are going to help you to mimic human behavior as closely as possible, and not all of them really do that. The ones I try to stay away from are the ones where they just click a few buttons and then they take over for you, okay? Because you have no idea what they're doing in the background. So a lot of the online apps that used to work well, that used to be good, some of the ones that we used to use in the past really aren't going to be that effective anymore. There's just so many of them out there. Ones like InstaZood, Social Captain, Social Upgrade, Megafollow, Falcon Social, Insta whatever, right? Gramzilla, Quick Follows, InstaVast, Viral Soda is another one. There's just so many of these online apps that try to make it simple for you, which is great, but the thing is they don't let you customize it to a point where it's actually going to help you to grow your account, because it just helps you to get shut down. It's really all it does.
Right, because the less customization, the more you look like a bot to Instagram.
Pretty much.
Okay, that makes sense. So now for the big reveal, what is the very best automation tool to use to help you gain followers on Instagram today?
Here's the thing, is that because of the amount of customization that you need to do in order to mimic human activity, the best tools are really going to be the most complicated ones to set up. And so typically these are not ones that you're going to be able to get and then just set them up yourself, okay? Because you need to know kind of the rules to follow, how to randomize it in a way that looks organic. But the one that we've been using that's worked really well, better than anything else that we've done before, is Jarvee. And if you want a link for that to check it out, we've got a link in the description of this video. But Jarvee is one that once we got it all set up the way that we wanted, I mean, it took some time to set it up, but once we got it set up, it's been running smoothly ever since for quite a while now. And the other neat thing about Jarvee is that it's not one that works just with Instagram. It also will do some things for Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. But there's a good 8 or 10 different apps that it actually works with that'll do some automation for you. And what it does is, even on the very basic account, it gives you 10 accounts, 10 social media accounts that you can automate with it. And you can mix and match those however you want. If you want to automate 10 Instagram accounts, you can do that. If you want to do 5 Instagram and 5 Twitter, you can do that. If you want to do 5 Instagram, 3 Twitter, 2 Facebook, whatever, right? You can mix and match them however you like, but you can do up to 10 accounts with their most basic plan. So it's very economical as well.
So now you mentioned that it isn't that easy to set up on your own. What advice do you have for people how to figure out how to do it?
Right, so when you're setting this up, you have to think about, if you're doing this manually, how would you be doing it, right? If you were to sit down every day and do your following and unfollowing, how many people would you follow at a time? How many people would you unfollow at a time? What time periods and what time and what interval of time would you be doing that for? Would you sit down for half an hour here and a half hour there? Would you take a lunch break sometime? Would you sleep at night? Those are some things that are really important to keep in mind when you're setting up these automation tools, so that you can set up the timings in a way where it's going to mimic your actual real activity. And the thing is that if you've been doing this manually for any length of time, you know what your schedule is and exactly what those would be. So it wouldn't be that hard. But the really important thing, okay, that you have to do with any automation tool that you use right now is you have to use a proxy. You cannot just set this up on your home network or over an online app and expect it to work and not get shut down. But that's one of the things that Instagram is really paying attention to right now, is what IP address are you logging in from? Okay, and if they detect that you're logging in from an IP address that is known to be an Instagram automation tool, that's a real easy decision for them to shut you down or to lock you up. Okay, so you need to use a proxy, even if you're using a web tool, or even if you're using something like Jarvee, you want to use a proxy. And not just any proxy, but you want to use a mobile 4G proxy, okay, a 4G mobile proxy, and you want it to be somewhere close to your actual local area, okay, that you would log in from. And that's when we noticed things really started to operate smoothly for us, is when we implemented that mobile 4G proxy along with the optimized timing settings that more closely mimicked human behavior, where we set it up to where we were actually sleeping at night, where we were taking a lunch break here or there, where we were only sitting down for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. So
awesome. So using Jarvee as the best automation tool, but making sure that you set it up using a proxy. So essentially, for people who don't understand what a proxy is, what is a proxy?
Okay, so let me back up here, because you've kind of asked a big question, proxy. It's a very simple answer, but if you don't know what it is, and it's kind of complicated. So basically, whenever you access the internet, you are accessing it from an IP address, okay? IP address. And that IP address is going to be specific to your local area. And so what a proxy will do is it will assign you a different IP address so that it looks like you are accessing the internet from a different location. And so whenever you use this, an actual mobile 4G proxy along with your automation tool, that is what is going to help to keep your account safe.
Awesome. So it looks like it's just you on your home computer or on your cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of accessing Instagram from the same IP address as other known automation bots.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Now, you might be wondering, well, exactly what proxy service should I get? Because there's a bunch of them out there. The one that Jarvie actually recommends and the one that we use is the Social Proxies by HiProxy. And that's another link that I'll leave down in the description of this video for you. But that has been working for us really well. And there's a lot of other proxy service providers out there that you could go with that are probably going to be fine. But the one from HiProxy, it's a social media mobile proxy from HiProxies is what we use. And it's the most affordable one that we've seen out there. The other ones are going to be $30, $40, $50 a month just for one. And HiProxies is like $4 a month, maybe even less than that. So it's much more affordable. So I'll leave a link for that in the description of this video as well. And the other important thing that I almost forgot is that you need to stay underneath the limits for following, unfollowing, likes, comments, direct messages, and all that good stuff. And so if you don't know what those are,
you definitely then need to click on the video, upper right corner of your screen, or at the top of the description. Watch that video next. We're going to lay out for you exactly what those limits are so that you can stay safe. We'll see you soon.